Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and buy it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Back in 2006, Sinn, on a winning streak of multiple original technical innovations and landmark model debuts, went in a completely different direction. Sinn of Frankfurt is known for its tool-style watches, even combat-oriented watches for military professionals. But the Regulator, a timepiece designed to reference vintage mother clocks from watchmaking studios, was a step away from those hardcore tool watches while remaining highly practical and an homage to historical horology and antiquity itself. A watch on my wrist that is big, but that's the look to make it easier to read. 44 millimeters across the round of the case, but slim. 10.8 millimeters thick, so you can wear it underneath the cuff because this is a formal timepiece. You could say this was the beginning of the modern era of Sinn watches when you started to see timepieces made in more of a Frankfurt sensibility. The company is based out of Frankfurt, which is the financial capital of Germany, and some might even say Europe, so it makes sense to have a fine dress watch line alongside the tool-style timepieces. Big but not oversized at 50 millimeters lug-to-lug. This is an easy watch to wear on a smaller wrist. I always say a smaller male wrist, 16.5 to 14 centimeters in circumference, wants 50 millimeters lug-to-lug or fewer, and this watch fits the bill. A broad and modern stance with 22 millimeters between the lugs. They are fit with a glorious, one might even say cobalt or ultramarine colored blue alligator leather strap, and you'll note there is a little bit of a ridged effect with differential coloration, black and blue both on the leather. Large rectangular scale alligator leather bolstered down the center, a contrasting white stitch, calfskin on the underside, and a elegant Zen Pin Buckle in stainless steel to match. The timepiece is remarkably nuanced about its case form. We can get nice and close now, afford ourselves a little bit more light, and admire the lines. Polished hoods about the lugs, polished outer circumference of the bezel, contrasting nicely with the satin-finished mid-case, and you'll note that the case back stepped back slightly from the case band, allows the watch to appear slimmer and flatter on the wrist. If you compare this watch to the IWC Portuguese Regulator 5444, you will find that this one actually compares favorably both externally and internally, while wearing just as well on a compact wrist size. The dial is sensational. Nicely balanced. You can see it as a cruciform symmetry with the Regulator nomenclature being balanced out by the Sinn script and marquee. The timepiece, top to bottom, aligned along an axis that contains 12 o'clock, or I should say 60 minutes, and 12 o'clock, and the hour indicator, and the minute indicator, and the seconds indicator. Everything on the dial that represents a numeral or an index is applied. So what appears to be printed or transferred Arabic numerals for the large minutes is actually appliqué. So those are applied, and this is high grade. Indices outboard on the railroad track likewise, applied by hand and blued. The hands at center, if the color is being corrupted by the image, are also blue. So it's a fairly colorful watch, compounded by the imagery of the dial texture, which is a gorgeous stamped style guilloche. You'll also note that there is a sunken outer track with a different metallic brushed or grained finish for the minutes. At center, an oversized spade-tipped minute hand. I mentioned that the watch pays tribute to antiquity, and indeed, in old times, when watchmakers would set watches in watchmaking atelier, they would use mother clocks or regulator displays that were very precise to the second, and thus this watch pays homage to those, particularly those designed by Ferdinand Berthoud and his son for use in the watchmaking environment. It's also important to note that the watch has a feature every regulator should have: hacking or stop seconds. Who would make a regulator that doesn't have the ability to stop the seconds and synchronize? I can't even imagine who would do a thing like that. So the good news is Sinn doesn't leave you hanging. A tool watch in the antiquarian sense, this one delivers on that promise. Flip it over. This is a heavily modified Unitas 6498. Still manual wind and with a wonderful ratchet feel. You can see it's like a case study in watchmaking. You can figure out how everything gets to the balance. From the crown to the ratchet wheel, the crown wheel, the click, the center wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, the lever, and then the balance itself with a Triovis micrometric adjustment device. Of course, hacking seconds, so you can stop the 18,000 vibration per hour balance and set precisely to a reference time. You can see Sinn has substantially upgraded this one in both appearance as well as the regulator, but it is the assembly of their own watchmaking, converting not just the regulator of the balance, but the regulator display from the standard 6498. Still 17 jewels, still a big slow beating timepiece designed originally for pocket watches. This movement fills the entirety of this giant 44mm watch, as the caliber itself is 36.7mm across, and you'll note the balance by itself almost 1/3 the diameter of the movement. Water resistant to a surprising 100 meters, showing the Sinn tool watch pedigree. Even in a timepiece designed for gentle company and the trading floor, you still have the ability to get wet and wild. What's a specialist in tool watches always a specialist in such watches. Even the crown itself branded with the signature S. Sinn is in here on Watchbox Reviews. See this one and make it yours on the Watchbox.